Mm. Good evening, everybody on this live. It's coming in, checking this video out by tuning in. I appreciate you, but we are about to get in some stuff tonight. That's what I got to say. Mm. So, here we go.
Remember Cardi B? This video is brought to you by TatumReport.com. TatumReport.com. Get the link in the description section. Make sure you like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you get notifications anytime I go live. I'll make a video. Make sure you still subscribe to my channel. Hit the join button so you can join the Tatum Squad. Like this video, comment on this video, share this video. Let's get into this. So I debated even making this video, but I feel like I need to say something about this subject matter. Cardi B, and I think everybody probably know who Cardi B is. And if you don't know who Cardi B is, you're not missing out on anything. She's a rapper that, she got a good success story. She believed in herself, and now she's destroying the black community and destroying the image of black women. But according to the hood, she made it of herself. But she made a video, a music song that has a video. It's called WAP. Now, I'm going to let you guys listen to it on your own. Viewer discretion is advised. I ain't playing it on here, but you're going to figure out what WAP is. And the first word is wet. The second word is a curse word. And the other word has something to do with where kids come out at. So she made a video titled that. And it is the most raunchy, disrespectful, degrading video of women I've ever seen. Degrading song I've ever seen. Now I know that people, they bump and grind, they pump and sweat. Okay, that's how everybody's born.
Right.
But for a woman to put out her personal business and nastiness
with
a music
with a
song,
child and a
glorifying
husband,
promiscuity and the degradation of black women is appalling to me. And people are celebrating this, buying the album, supporting it. What happened to women, black women? Let's talk about black women that had respect
with a family,
like Lauryn Hill, Erykah Badu, Jill Scott. I mean, do I need to keep going? India.Arie, black women who not only were rappers but R&B artists that spoke about virtue of women, spoke about love and relationships and loyalty, and told the truth about what's going on in the community. Now we got Nicki Minaj and Cardi B being nasty.
Nasty.
One of the reasons why I can't play half of that song is because it's just too raunchy.
Alone.
It's nasty. Explicit stuff. It's almost like you're watching an X-rated video by listening to it. And we're going to talk about the music video. What image are you putting out to young women? It is not okay. You're Cardi B. You got money. So I guess you can be as slutty as you want to be. But for the rest of the young women out there, you're not rich. You gotta live in real life. And then we wonder why in the black community, why we have so many out of wedlock births, why we have so many Planned Parenthood visits. This is why. Right. And people like to say, oh, no, it's just music. No, music, it gets into the subconscious of who you are. And then slowly but surely you become what you listen to. All of a sudden music doesn't count. Why do you think you listen to music when you're in the doctor's office? Why do you think you listen to music before a baseball game, NFL game? Why do you think music is so prevalent? And for you Christians out there, why do you think that the saying of that the devil was the musician in heaven and is using music to influence people today? Why do you think that's apparent? Why do you think we're even talking about this stuff? Because it's real. Because it's real. And I'll say this, if you don't believe me, listen to hardcore gangster rap for 30 days. And then turn around and listen to K-Love or listen to Christian music for 30 days and see how different you feel on the inside. Ask me how I know. I used to listen to rap music every day. And then I started listening to Christian music, and it changed my life.
Everyone.
It actually changed how I felt. It changed my energy. Some of y'all have listened to The Secret and all these other books, self-help books. They tell you to avoid putting stuff into your subconscious that can damage you. And people might say, oh, you know, for the white people that's listening to it that are not black and are not a part of the community, or any woman that's listening to it that don't specifically view life that way, you are subconsciously getting brainwashed into visualizing women that look like Cardi B as being that way.
Boom.
I'm just saying. When your husband is at work and the girl look like Cardi B, work with him, you telling me you ain't gonna think in your mind that she act like Cardi B?
When that song
I forgot most of y'all perfect.
she walking
so the
down
people
the
who aren't
street,
perfect. That's
you're
what
supposed
happens
to magically just
same thing
like,
happens
nope.
in rap music. You think all that killing and stealing and robbing ain't influencing these people?
It's programmed.
Let me know the last time you seen a person doing a drive-by listening to Kurt Franklin. It ain't happening.
Exactly.
Listen to Kerry Job. It ain't happening.
No.
Listening to, I don't know, Tim McGraw. It ain't happening. They listening to gangster rap music, Lil Webby and all this other stuff.
Right.
And it's subconsciously brainwashing them. And they go, well, white people are the biggest consumer of hip-hop music. That's probably why white people look at black people a certain way. Not all white people, some of them. You telling me if I got out of my car and walked in a grocery store with my pants sagging, you don't think that I'm associated with the way rappers think, the way they act, the way they conduct themselves? Am I not a gangster? And they dress and act the same way, and they're not, people not going to associate me that way, especially people who don't live in the community? Quit lying to yourself. We need to start holding these people accountable. Instead of celebrating slutty behavior, we need to be celebrating women who have integrity, women of virtue. What happened to that? Now you wonder why you can't get married and nobody respects you. You wonder why all men are dogs. Well, you acting like a cat. So these dogs are gonna chase you everywhere. How about you act like you got some sense? And see, let me tell you a little secret, and then I'm bouncing. Women, you got to understand about men. Not y'all on this live stream, because I mean this video, because y'all perfect. I'm talking about somebody on another live stream. Mm-hmm. Women, you want a good man, but you act like Cardi B. What do you think you're gonna get? You're gonna get Cardi B and them type dudes that be cheating on them. Cardi B mentioned in a song she got a ring. Yeah, that ring come with infidelity. That ring come with him smashing other women. Keep it real. You ain't no happy ring. You ain't got no ring like my wife got. She ain't got to worry about me. All right, I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there. Don't think you're gonna get a good man acting like Cardi B. That'll get a man to come and play. He ain't gonna stay. You want him to play or you want him to stay? You can't have both. You want a real man? Real men are not gonna look at you the same way if you're acting like that. Real men want somebody that's stable. Cardi B should be talking about what is your credit score, Cardi B? What are you actually doing in life? If someone was to marry you, how are they going to benefit, or how can they work with you to make a better lifestyle? No, they don't just care about because you fine. They don't care about because you good over there.
You know what I'm saying?
That don't get you nowhere. Because when you like 70 years old, 60 years old, late, yeah, I know what happened. You ain't gonna be doing no pumping and sweating. Mm-hmm. You're gonna have to be able to live with you forever. After the kids leave, you have to be able to put up with you when you ain't as fine as you used to be. So anyway,
when everything
that's my little 2 cents. We'll talk about men next, so don't get offended. We'll talk about men next. But I had to just throw my 2 cents out by Cardi B, man. That was somebody sent that to me, and I just couldn't even stomach watching it. I had to force myself to watch that music video.
Something else. But that's just one thing. And hey, appreciate you. Man. That's what I'm about to do for y'all. Shit. I'm dropping this link for anybody who wanna sit here and join the team. You're always invited. Shout out to Black Spring and Old School. Both of y'all. Appreciate y'all. And we're going to continue this live.
This video is brought to you by the Officer Tatum Store. The Officer Tatum Store. Get the merch link in the description section. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell so you get notifications anytime I go live or make a video. Make sure you still subscribe to my channel. Hit the join button so you can join the Tatum Squad. Like this video, comment on this video, share this video. Let's get into this. Follow me over, ladies and gentlemen, to Wauwatosa,
Hey, look
Wisconsin.
at who it is.
Well, we have a black officer.
Hey,
And now he's being
DJ,
attacked.
how are you?
I'm talking about verbally attacked. I'm not talking about online bullying. I'm talking
What's happening?
about literally 50 to 60 of these knuckles.
oh, just going through the paces and getting updated on everything that's going on here, close to the White House, especially after the situation earlier today and over the weekend. Also, it's just they're trying to turn the city. They're trying to turn the DC side into a mini Chicago again. This ain't nothing new,
Oh
but
my gosh, DJ.
new, but yeah, 20 people in a hospital from one block party after at least 400 rounds were found after big old shootout. You talking about Chicago? 400 rounds, 100. That's not like 40 rounds. 100 from a block party that they was posting and Instagramming and come through.
No way.
Forget the corona. So you got a young lady who had her relative killed, and she was on the news saying, if we got all this corona, how come the police wasn't able to shut it down? Number one, do black people listen to the police when they're gathering by the hundred? No. Yo, I don't know what. And they already blocked off, like, they already blocked off parts of the neighborhood and was out there monitoring the whole gathering the whole day. Everything was cool until whatever popped off, whoever disagreed, they set a chain reaction with everybody that had a firearm at that event. And that's where I, legal or not, which probably 90% was not, but who knows?
It's just a rash. There's a rash of I think that they're going to use this to drive what they call the disarming of America is what this is about at this point. Just bystander government. Oh, we can't do anything, but I know what we'll do. Let's confiscate all of the guns.
If they'll try that. They'll try that.
Lightfoot told Trump today, said that the federal government, if they wanted to do something, don't send any Fed troops in. Stop the people from being able to go across the state line, or stop the flow of guns from across the other states.
Man, number one, the biggest pipeline is from basically from Mexico, Texas, all the way up to Maine. But that ain't Chicago. The Chicago ain't hitting that. And also, it's funny, she puts it off, but when they were at her house, she was willing to come up with some kind of deal. When they were outside of the house and and doing all that mess with her, then she was talking to Trump on the phone and actually thinking about something, but she never came to us. She's basically fighting her party versus her, in her perspective that if you try it and it starts to not work as a leader of your area, you have no choice but to point somewhere else, because you done tried your mess. It's garbage. It's not gonna work. We know it ain't gonna work. So I'm trying to figure out what is her plan, especially when they already got 100 people arrested from last night. last night looting the Louis everything, Louis Vuitton, they done looted over 100 stores. Like they gotta figure something out. And if they come down here with that, people out here, we got store owners that got guns. So I don't know how that's going. You can imagine how that's going to happen. I know 75% of the 7-Eleven owners have guns, and you could go on and on. Like you could go on and on about other businesses. Most of the jewelry businesses are owned by Bangladesh people. They have guns. Have you ever been to Baka? So some people need to figure out what they want to do and not just follow trends as they watch the media and try to align their criminal activity with, oh, they got a sweet spot here, they got a sweet spot there. They're going to keep, it's going to be many cities that get taken advantage of who don't have regular citizens who don't have firearms and believe in defending their property, their business. A lot of them just don't care. You know, you find that out when you see it on the news. But it's sad. It's sad. Don't wait for rooftop Koreans to do something about it. So that's all I gotta say about that situation. And with this situation right here, this is specifically talking about 3 situations in which the shootings were justified. Every shooting was about police officers shooting a suspect who had a deadly weapon every single time. But the media only gave it attention after George Floyd. Black Lives Matter, of course, is Black Lives Matter. And I'm about to roll the clip.
Heads went over to his girlfriend's residence where he was staying at. Unfortunately, he was unarmed at the time. Unfortunately for them, or fortunately for them. But he was over his girlfriend's house, and what do these jackwagons do? They go over to the house. They throw toilet paper all over the house. He come out to try to have a conversation with him, and what do? They assault him, assault his girlfriend. Somebody shot into the house with kids there. This is supposed to be a Black Lives Matter movement, right? They're supposed to care about Black lives. But somehow, if you're a police officer, your life don't count. And if you are children or you associated with police officers, your life don't count either. Because I'm just assuming that his girlfriend is black because in a statement he said the kids were black. And even if she was white, it doesn't matter. You still shouldn't be going and bludgeoning people when you're claiming Black Lives Matter. I'm telling y'all, the whole organization is a farce. Most of these people aren't even black. Most of these people care nothing about black people. This is just their way
They
to
never
get out
are.
anger and loot and do all kind of other stupid stuff. But see, when I first heard this, Officer Menza is his name, and we're gonna support Officer Menza. I'm gonna try to have him on the show. But Officer Menza, when he first threw it out there, I said, man, this is too juicy. I need to do more research. There's no way. There's no way that BLM protesters are attacking this man, bludgeoning him. He didn't have a gun. I need to know more. But there's a video. There's a video of all of it, caught on candid camera. So I'm gonna show y'all this video, and we're gonna keep talking about this because I don't want you to just believe me. I want you to watch the video. Roll the film.
Yeah, and Ted, Wauwatosa police tell us they are still looking for the suspects involved. But if you look closely tonight, you can still see some of the remnants of this incident left in front of the house.
Targeted by armed protesters. On Saturday night, Wauwatosa police say roughly 60 protesters came to a private home where suspended officer Joseph Mensah was staying. Viewer video showing a chaotic scene. Investigators say Mensah tried to talk with the group, but he was physically assaulted. As Mensah went back into the home, police say one of the protesters fired a single shotgun round into the back door.
Who just shot, bro?
Mensah posted on social media after the shooting, saying the group, quote, tried to kill me, and that Mensah and his girlfriend were both assaulted, punched, and ultimately shot at several times. The irony of all this is that they chanted Black Lives Matter, he posted, but had zero regard for any of the black children that live there or me, a black man.
Verified, 100% verified, 100% video footage. They're even in the video saying who shot.
Right.
Come on, ladies and gentlemen. Come
on. Who shot?
All the
He
man was
did.
doing his job. And the reason why they're mad at him, because he was involved in 3 officer-involved shootings. Now, one would think, in a rational sense, since these people are going so crazy and they're protesting, they're trying to tear his life apart, that these shootings were controversial, that they were unjustified, that he was shooting people in weird circumstances where it may or may not have been a gun. No, ladies and gentlemen, no. All 3 of these shootings that he'd been involved in, I think in the 5 or 6 years, were all justified, not even controversial until after George Floyd. One of these fools had a sword, 2 of them had a gun, and they were shooting at him, and he defended himself. And now you want to tear his house down. Ladies and gentlemen, it has gotten out of control. This is no longer acceptable. It never has been. This is not protesting. You know what protesting is? When you do what Martin Luther King them did.
Right.
You know how they just protest? That's how
Right.
they weren't violent. They weren't bludgeoning people.
Non-violent.
This is anarchy.
That's what he called it.
These are riots. That's
Thank
not
you.
covered under the Constitution.
At all.
People need to stop blurring the line. If you are just, and even Officer Mensa said that he's all for protesting, even him.
Right.
But this is not protest.
At all.
You're firing shots in a house with kids in there, black kids. You're attacking a black police officer? Nuts.
Nuts.
And this officer did what he's supposed to do. Don't know why this is even controversial. But I think
Right.
this speaks to a bigger issue, ladies and gentlemen. Wake up. This is not about black lives.
At
They
all.
clearly don't care about the babies at Planned
I'm
Parenthood.
a
They
lot.
clearly don't care about the bodies that are laying in the ground right now in Chicago and all over the country in black cities, not in white cities. These are not white cities, right? Where I live at is a majority white people over here. There ain't no brothers laying in the street. There ain't no black on black violence. There ain't nobody hurting nobody. Ain't nobody robbing nobody. But when you go into the inner city, you go into the south side of Phoenix, you go into these black communities, what's happening? What's happening? Chaos, confusion. And you don't say it's just because of poverty, because there ain't no white Chicagos out there. I say it till I'm pink in the face. There is no white Chicago. Huh? What white gang is equal to the Crips and Bloods? Name a white one. Huh? Y'all still want to go to the KKK, people wearing pillowcases on their head. Where they
Always cut out.
Where is it in the country that the Klan is going around doing drive-bys on people's houses?
They
They know
knew
each
they
other.
couldn't even see.
You know how
We can't
stupid
see,
that would
man.
look if the Klan was doing drive-bys on each other? Oh, but you ain't got no
Stupid-ass
excuse.
pillowcases.
These are black
We can't
folks doing
freaking
this.
see.
This is a
What we
black
gonna do?
movement. And if it got hijacked by white people, that's your fault. That ain't the white people's fault. You don't want to let this happen because you guys are not well managed. You don't have a mission. You don't have a goal. You don't want equality. You want revenge. It's that simple. There's no way in the world you should be attacking a black officer claiming Black Lives Matter. How stupid are you? And then everybody, the shooters weren't all black people. It was 1 Hispanic and 2 blacks. You should be focusing on this officer's lives matter. Officer Mensa's life matter. These criminals don't matter. They chose the path to get, you know what? I don't want to say too much on here. You know how they work. But
you get the point. And how you feel about that, man? Like, seriously.
I just get sick of the hypocrisy across the board. I just get sick of them. They'll shape their narrative up with anything. It doesn't even have to be. It could be 2 truths and a lie, and they'll still shape it up. They'll pick somebody that wasn't even a part of the truth or the lie.
Yeah.
And say, "Here's the story." You know, I'm going to be honest. I'm sick of people getting. I'm sick of the looting. I'm sick of the burning. I'm sick of the robbing. I'm sick of the shooting. This is senseless, DJ.
Yeah.
And the leadership they're standing by. They're bystanders. You got bystander governments watching these kids like Lightfoot. She is a disaster. You know, so many kids have been killed there this summer. I can't even count. I mean, I can't count on 2 hands how many kids have been murdered there just this summer. Can't go to a funeral there.
Oh yeah, come on. So, I mean, it's funny because sometimes I ask myself, like, what are we gonna do after 2020? Like, we're literally, can we
Do you think it's
can
going
we
to stop?
imagine? Can we imagine after 2020 it's gonna be like this? Like, can we even start to try to? That's so hard. That's so difficult to just try. It might not be as difficult if you think it's gonna go the way it should go. As far as in my mind, positively thinking, if and when
Oh, I'm going to share it out, DJ. I'm going to share it out.
your president gets reelected, this president gets reelected, it's going to be a continuance of two things. And one, the economy is going to boom so much, it's never going to be a lifting that ever happened in this small period of time in the history of this country. That's going to be the one. This is just going to be a new record that's set. And then number two, GDP is going to be at its highest that it ever been. Also, jobs are going to be parallel to that also, and I'm looking forward to that among any.
Are you investing in precious metals, DJ?
Yep, but I'm gonna set up a IRA.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do it that way. So I'm gonna start off with golds and silvers. I was trying to find somewhere to buy low and reliable also, because you have to. I want to get all my stuff certified with my when I get it, and then when I send it off and it's saved, then I could actually. Well, I thought about the IRA, but also I know it's a small penalty if you take anything out earlier than the time that you had signed off, say 5, 10 years. 10 years. If I take it out in 5 years, I'm paying. So you have to know what you're doing when you get it. You can have it and stack it, but if it's at your residence, you'll have to defend it with your life. That's a different situation and a different risk. And with that risk, it has to be in a vault safe, not a regular safe. You get a regular safe, it'll just you could get through that. Just know that. But that'll be the only alternative. If you don't have a vault safe, and you can turn the knob and it.
Like the old school. That sounds like the old school prices, right?
It sounds like it, but those are the new firearm safes that they have been making. Colion Noir also recommends these safes, especially anybody with long guns and precious metals. So I have to get one, especially before I move with my long firearms. I don't care where I'm moving to at this point. I just
So are you planning on moving within before the end of the summer? Or?
Oh yeah, it depends. Yeah, it depends because prices are looking good right now due to what Trump did. So the day before Trump he'd announced that he was going to sign that executive bill for tenants to have an extension and have an avoidance of being evicted. The economy of getting apartments and rent, they automatically shut all the prices lower. I never seen this before. It was hundreds of dollars higher than I was trying to get an apartment months ago. 2 months ago specifically. So it was $200 to $300 higher standard to $400. So it's a big boom right now, and I'm trying to get. I probably will move real soon. Within a month or so. So as far as the prices, they ain't never been looking like what they're looking like right now. So we'll see how that goes. And also with that, it may be a rift because you'll have leasing agencies going, well, we don't know how much money we're gonna make taking people in. They'll take people, but based on that risk, I'll be good because I got a stable job. But people that have wishy-washy jobs, I don't know about them. And my credit is basically based on my job anyway, so that's what they're gonna base everything on. But you know, I should be good. I literally wanna. I'm the one who choose. I choose exactly what I want to do. I don't let my situation necessarily turn. That's how
I hear you.
I go about it. But it is what it is, and I got another video here I'm about to share, and it is funny because these certain things keep happening. Certain people don't understand, but we just talked about this when I first got on, and we're about to hear a commentary on the situation right here. Let's get it.
And today we got to talk about all the lawlessness, the chaos, the looting, the shooting, and everything else that's happening right now in Chicago, Illinois. Now, I know some may say, hey, ABL, Chicago is always violent. It's been like that on and in the 80s in the drug war, and right now in the Black and Hispanic areas in the South and the West. I get it. Chicago has very violent areas. The entire city is not like that, obviously, but it does have very violent areas. They've been like that for a long time. What you have right now today is an uptick in violence in an already violent place.
Right.
All right. And it's not because of just, gang wars intensifying. It's not that. You have these so-called Black Lives Matter protests, which I think we all know, if you've been here for a while, or if you just have a pair of eyes, we all know that these are not protests. These are riots. Simple as that. It ain't nothing else to it. I don't care if you went out there with a peaceful heart. That's fine. God bless you. But Black Lives Matter protests.
She went out there with a peaceful heart.
Of that all over the country.
Out there with a
not just Chicago, Portland, Oregon,
pay to wave the
LA,
hand would get
New York, Philadelphia, parts of Florida, Georgia, everywhere.
Bible
We've
says
seen
the
people
heart
get
is
shot,
wicked and
killed.
no man.
And the crazy part is that
So,
more Black
You
folks
went out there with
and
no
killed
malarkey.
than anything else. And for all, let me know in the comments. All right, in Portland,
you drive
Oregon,
by painting,
they've
huh?
had an uptick in crime so much that in July 2020, they had 15 murders, which was half of their total from 2019, the entirety of the year, not just in July. But I'll get back on track. Chicago's doing really bad right now. Now, shout out to the police superintendent in Chicago, David Brown,
Right.
for keeping it all the way real during
True.
a press conference. We'll
True.
get to that in a moment, so you're able to see what David Brown said, and also the mayor of Chicago, Lori Lightfoot. You'll see what she said. But before we get to that, you may recognize David Brown, the superintendent. He was the chief of police in Dallas, Texas, back in 2016. The first time that Black Lives Matter reared their ugly head. All right. Now, some of you guys may say, oh, ABL is peaceful protests, all this and that. Well, look, just because you're not out there shooting and killing and whatnot, the general rhetoric of defund the police, you hate the police, that, kind of invades the minds of those that are already on the edge. Michael Xavier Johnson was an example of that. He shot and killed, I think, 4 or 5 Dallas police officers because of the rhetoric that he had been fed by Black Lives Matter. He said it right there during the time he was shooting them. He was like, I'm upset about Black Lives Matter and white people in police. That was the motivation, was Black Lives Matter. Okay. And you're seeing more evidence of that. People are getting hurt. People are on the edge because of all the violent, negative, hateful rhetoric coming from Black Lives Matter. Now, before I go any further, let's roll the clip from David Brown. You'll see what he said in response to a question about why the chaos is happening. You'll see what Lori Lightfoot said. After we get done with that, I'll talk about what he said a little bit more, and also Lori Lightfoot. Then I'll give you my 2 cents, my deep detail analysis, and then I'll wrap it on up. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
These looters act as if there are no consequences to their behavior. And they based that on what happened previously, that we made a lot of arrests. during May and June. And not many of those cases were prosecuted to the fullest extent. And I think that's my point and the mayor's point. We have to have consequences for the arrests that Chicago police officers make through great threat to their own safety. They're being shot at to make these arrests. And these looters, these thieves, these criminals are emboldened by no consequences in the criminal system. They get released. Many charges get dropped. And so they feel emboldened to do it more. That is not a consequence of the officers not making the arrest. The officers are making the arrest. The consequences are once prosecution and sentencing comes up, there's no consequence. So we would argue that let's have the criminal justice system here deliver a strong message to these criminals that there will be consequences for your behavior.
Yes.
It almost sounds as though you're saying this is the reason we have it is because the courts and the prosecutors were not doing their job, that they were going too easy on the looters from the last time around.
Don't take it from me. Just go by what's been done. I don't want to do your job for you, but just go by what's been done. There were no consequences for the people arrested.
Greg, let's be clear. I mean, don't bait us, okay? Do not bait us. Don't try to save us. This is a serious situation. People are concerned about their safety. Officers are concerned about their safety. So don't bait us. What we're saying is, as a result of what happened last night, there have to be consequences. We've got teams of people that are aggressively out there identifying the people responsible, looking at the plates, and we're going to bring them to justice. But when we do, and we do make those arrests, our expectation is that they'll be with a level of seriousness. Period. Don't try to bait us, mischaracterize, pit one against the other. We're not playing. We are in a serious situation here.
And you look so serious in your serious situation.
All right, so you saw that. You heard now. Shout out to him keeping it all the way real. It's kind of a coincidence that he's been brought into Chicago. Maybe it's maybe it's not. Maybe it is. Maybe they understood that it's 2020. It's an election year. You may have BLM return, so you have experience with BLM. You survived. Well, didn't survive, but you were there as a chief during a mass shooting, during some BLM stuff, during an election year. You can come over here to Chicago and help get some things going on. What he's saying is right on point. It's different than Portland. In Portland, you just have law enforcement that can't really do anything. They got their hands tied. They can't even arrest anybody. Okay, they can't really do much. And I think, what was that, Minneapolis or Milwaukee, you can't even use pepper spray to disperse crowds. So he's saying a different thing in Chicago. They're able to arrest people. I think they had 100 arrests that happened over the weekend as a result of 200 plus stores getting looted. However, if these guys and girls that get arrested don't get prosecuted and charges get dropped, thanks to the radical DA or whatever she is, Kim Fox, the same lady that was involved in Jussie Smollett, not prosecuting him. Remember her? As long as people like that are there, what can the police do? The police are doing their job. They're not necessarily having their hands tied. But if guys are getting arrested, they're not even really going to the penitentiary or jail at least. They're pretty much getting caught and released like fish out there on the pond. What are you really going to do? You got to have some actual consequence come as a result. And the reporter was asking good questions. He was like, look, okay, it's not like what you're saying is you got the prosecutors and the judges not doing their job. Okay, and that's correct. He was 1,000% correct. Now, I don't know why Dirty Foot got offended because, I mean, did she appoint them? Are they her friends? People like Kim Fox and them, are they her friends? I don't really know. That's the only reason why you get offended. It wasn't a bait. It's just a legitimate question. Right. If the police commissioner or superintendent, whatever they want to call him in Chicago, the chief, David Brown, if he's saying, look, we are doing our job, but they're not getting prosecuted, obviously what he said is the judges, the DA, people that are above us that deal with the legislative or judicial part, they're not doing their part of it. We're doing our part, but they're not doing theirs. So if we arrest them for the looting and they get out in less than 24 hours, then right back on the street to do it again. It's going to encourage them to do it again. They know that they might not get caught. If they do get caught, it won't even be a crime. they'll get sent right back to the street to do it all over again. And these guys are breaking into stores not for bread, like the world famous AOC said, not for bread. You don't break into a Tesla store to get packs of bread, okay? You don't do that. And I saw plenty of obese people out there eating them food stamps up, right? First of the month just happened. They already went to Walmart and got their cart stocked to the top, overflowing, having food drop on the ground as it go through aisle 3, okay? They got their cart full of just junk. They got plenty of food to eat. They don't need any bread.
Right.
They're breaking into the Tesla trying to get a car. I don't know what they're trying to do. They're trying to get cell phones and sell them on Craigslist and eBay and them. They're trying to do just some basic criminal activity, all right? You got the Antifa and BLM. These are politically motivated people. They got actual things they got going on. You got business money behind them, people getting paid to come out and do certain things. You have that happening. You also have just the people that are just trying to get money, the general, the locals that come in and trying to just steal. That's what's happening with that. If you don't lock them up, if there's no actual criminal penalty for that kind of action, it will continue. It's not really hard to understand. I'm not Albert Einstein. This is not rocket science. It's very simple. So shout out to the police superintendent, David Brown, for saying that. And the mayor, she has a lot of blame here to put on her own back, all right? Because she's not really trying to bring in the National Guard. And obviously, you're going to need some more help to get things under control. Need more police on the streets. You also need to get rid of some of these judges and whatnot that are in there just doing whatever they want to do. People like Kim Fox, who can fire her, I'm not really sure. Is it the mayor? Is it the governor? Man, you got to get somebody on board because they're not doing their jobs at all. You got to get competent people in there that know what they're doing in order to have this whole thing go right. Mm-hmm. Simple as that. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think that the issue in Chicago and Portland and other places can be solved if leadership in the area did the right thing? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. Or
there we go. But you get the point. It's crazy. It just won't stop. How you feel about that?
I just think that Chicago is plagued. Their legacy is too deep. You got the Kim Foxes, the Rahm Emanuels, the Obamas, the Lori Lightfoot, the Rob Blagojevich. My gosh, that place. It's steeped in corruption. And I don't know if the people, but I don't think the people like these people. You know what I mean? I don't think that the people actually like their leaders. I don't think, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I saw the clip where the kids were robbing that, was it a pharmacy? It looked like a pharmacy almost. Like, these are young kids, teenagers.
Yeah. 17, 15, whatever they get. And if they're younger, they just know it's website. I get my hands on it. If they lock me out, they're going to let me out anyway. Yeah. They're letting everybody out.
So where do they have that no bail? Is it no bail over at in Chicago too?
Well, that's when Dirtyfoot stepped in and said, "Don't bait us because we don't want to tell you they're not doing their job." But the police already said the truth, and she tried to jump in for him, and he didn't even ask for her help. He already said it. He said it several times. And that's when she got big-eyed and looking like Beetlejuice. hopped on the scene and said, "Don't try to bait us. Don't pin one against the other. Not one against the other. If you're not doing your job, speak up and say that you guys we locked them up.
They're just gonna
they let them out. Say that so we could get something going and trying to figure out, let's get them have some kind of penalty.
I would say I agree that she wants that city to go up in flames. She doesn't care.
Yeah. Can't even talk about it.
She wants her new world order and all her cops that are gonna agree to uphold that stand. People that are pledging allegiance to the new world order. You know, she said that.
They're gonna be like, yes, we don't get locked up. Yes, we can do what we want. Anarchy. They're gonna try to resurrect the new goddamn purge. No consequences for breaking the law at all for a specific period of time. We're on our way right now. People don't believe it. That's why they made the movie, because they knew if we want to go extreme on this with the no consequences thing, this is what it would look like. So when you figure it out now, before we just take it all the way to never land. So I don't think we really want to do, but some people are preparing for that day. Never know when that day is gonna come. The explosions in other parts of the world. If we see a big plume cloud from whatever, who knows what will we do? Gonna wait till then? I don't know. I don't want to wait until I hear the big sirens going off in the city. You know, what you gonna do then? It's too late. I think it's too late if you ain't prepared at all. I mean, I kind of live where I'm at. I'm like underground, basically. My basement, anyway, is literally underground. But I'll be good as far as that. But anything else? I'll probably be stuck up in here. Hurricanes, like real hurricanes that knock things feet away as far as trees and whatnot. We just did have 2 tornadoes go off in Maryland about 2 weeks ago. Or 2 weeks ago. So, and that was by my dad's house, but they're good. But nevertheless, you gotta be prepared regardless. It don't matter what it is. I don't want to get a nice house, then have a tornado, the nice house gone, because I ain't got tornado insurance. You ain't thinking. You thought you was worried about living a perfect American life instead of living in reality. In a perfect world, it doesn't work like that. You know? So, the fact that we don't live in a perfect world, you gotta think a little bit more. So, I definitely am a pepper. Gold, growing vegetables, food. Speaking of whatnot, you growing? You still growing?
Well, I don't like the way I am, but I don't like the way my squash are turning out. They need help. I don't know if I need to cut them, and my tomatoes are not doing too well either. The squash turned up, but the tomatoes, I don't know if I need to replant, redo the soil, or redo the stuff. Just redo them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, tomatoes are really good hydroponically. So.
But I don't know if maybe they're getting too much sun because I have them on. I have them on the balcony, and I guess the sun sets. Was it the east? The sun sets in the east.
Sets in the west. Rises in the east. Rises in the east. Sets in the west.
Okay, so the west. So I guess it's that part of the house. I think they're getting fried a little bit.
Yeah, the sun is the hottest between the middle of the day and the afternoon.
Yeah, I think their poor things are getting fried over there.
Yeah, my last plants got fried in the window and outside because it gets that hot out here. But I forgot. I thought this is DC. Woo, we don't have that. No, they got fried cooked. It was brown in one day. So.
No way.
In one day, I was like, "Oh my God, no!" Ran it, took it in the house. It was gone. It was gone, dude. It did not come back to life. I only saved it once. First time, I caught it in the middle of the day, dying. Brought it in the house, started coming back to life. Within some days, fed it water, put it in the window, and took it away from the window. When I kept it in the window, joint, like I put it under magnifying glass and then intensified the heat or something. I was like, no, it joint shriveled up and died like a cartoon.
Yeah. It was fried.
Yep. Oh, it's a lesson learned though. But I know a few things that guarantee that I could grow in the yard. I learned from an Ethiopian that grew in the yard that I used. That I used of his stuff. He grew peppers. He grew this. Obviously, you could grow these things in extreme heat. So I'm letting you know right now. It gets hot out here. This city heat is different. It's not the same. You ask people from Texas. In Texas, you have wind. It gets cool at night. It doesn't. We getting off at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. It's hot, and we trying to figure out why. This show is a little bit different, but peppers, onions ain't nothing. Anybody grow onions. Tomatoes, herbs. We grow herbs also. Parsley, oregano, sage. Parsley, oregano. Other herbs that you use in Italian spices. Also, if you wanted to make spaghetti, you can grow that right outside. Man, and I use something, put in my spaghetti. So then it's definitely, oh my gosh, when you do it that way, you'll never want to do it by going to the store again. Number one, when you have fresh herbs like that, my body ain't never experienced, but when it did, that's all I gotta say. When it did, it treats your body different. First time, and it cleans everything out. First time, so that's a big one. Limit your fresh herbs, not processed, not gone through some big dispensary and factories and like that. It's gonna be stronger. Period. Way up to 10 times stronger or more, depending on how much sun you have. The more sun, the stronger your herb or flower is what it's called. Also, the one what I have, I had what is the herb that you put inside of spaghetti that you usually grind up?
Like basil or Bailey?
I think it's Bailey. So I used that, but it was so powerful. The joint smelled like mint. It smelled like mint. It was way more minty. So the person that gave it to me warned me. She said, "Hey, we use it in our spaghetti, but we dry it out. I'm giving it to you when it's fresh and it's almost floury wet. He said, try to dry it out. Put it in the microwave first. That's about it." He said that, or let it sit for 2 days after cutting it up. Let it sit for 2 days and sun dry because it was getting 90 degrees every day. He said you let it sun dry, then you'll be good. First time, I ain't even care. I ain't even sun dry. I just chopped it up, put it straight in my my spaghetti. It was wonderful and delicious, but man, that went through me. Second time I listened to him, He was right. It was smooth. It was smooth, and it actually helped my little joints in my bones. It just helped. I don't know why, but when I went to work, I didn't feel no pain. I usually feel pain every day because I got my little conditions. But that day, those herbs, once I let them dry, boom, into my food, whatever I had combined with that, I was moving, I was working, I was good, man. So it's a big difference on how you treat your herbs. You know, you gotta make sure your body's used to those fresh herbs. Slowly introduce your body to the natural stuff. It's always stuff that we got in our cabinet that we don't think about growing. You know, so small transition, but it's worth it in the long run.
Well, I know I like herbs. I mean, cooking.
Cooking without herbs. Cooking nothing.
So I don't even know what did I get. What did I cook with the last time? I love garlic. Garlic is a good starter.
What? It's a few things that I keep in my repertoire for cooking, and I literally have 4 things that are mandatory: garlic powder, onion powder, salt, pepper, and that's specifically for. You can use that for almost anything. And it's funny because I when I did that and I started testing that out, to seeing if certain people were gonna over favor something or under favor, but it all ends out equal or better. I get better results by being consistent and mastering small stuff. Then when you start incorporating bigger stuff, and you're like, wow, you really are acing this, man. You can master your basic meats with just that.
But you're pretty savvy on the grill, right?
Yeah. I'm definitely, that's one of my biggest things I do. The grill and bake. My baking and grilling is almost like this just because I had to bake almost longer than I was grilling. I was grilling for a very long time, but I didn't always have a grill. So I had to bake, I perfected that. And it was coming out meat falling off the bone when I make ribs and the bacon falling off the bone. It's just insane. I can literally just pull the bone out, and then it's just I can make a rib sandwich. Like it's just insane. Yeah. So I learned some good things, man. And I'll definitely show y'all guys on here. I will post that. I will do a walkthrough.
So are you cooking on Labor Day or cooking on Labor?
Yep, I'll be cooking something. I'll be cooking something. Who knows? I may get some. Who knows? I have a good protein on my watch list. So. But yep. So you got anything? You got anything new that you knew you've been watching and know that was going on?
Well, I think the biggest the things that I've noticed that they're doing all kinds of legislation under the that nobody's hearing about. Like for instance, they're doing a lot with this transgender for the kids. They're passing laws. I mean, they're writing bills, policies for grants, so that children can get these surgeries.
Oh, yeah.
California. Transgendering these kids. I mean, I'm trying to think. I have the let's see. I have the whole bit. What they're actually doing. It's very tough. It's tough to hear that for those kids. Let's see. What do we have here? All right, so it's there's a bill they're calling it Transgender Wellness and Equity Fund. It's to distribute grants to clinics offering transgender hormones. to children. Yeah. So that it's already, I think it's already passed the California State Assembly in June.
Mm.
So, this is nuts. I think it's from, 12 to 17 years old. They're going to let them, as young as 12. They're distributing the hormones to children as young as 12.
As young as you're able to have sex, you can make your decision. That's what it's based on. That's about the age where your hormones just come on. Men, especially. Males. I don't know about females. I thought y'all was happening earlier, but that's just my thoughts.
Let me see. 200 overt claims of the legislation titled Transgender Wellness and Equity claims that over 218,000 Californians identify as transgender. 27% or 796,000 of youth 12 to 17 are viewed as gender non-conforming by their peers at school. Where the hell they get these stats from?
Mm-hmm.
So that and then situation with Trump and the shooter. What did you think about that?
You said, well, I mean,
do you think Trump appeared to be rattled or?
Man, he didn't influence. Number one, you could see you could tell by a few things. Number one, his mannerisms, and number two, his cadence of his voice. He was never shook. He didn't change anything, especially the way he talked, the way he moved. He couldn't even believe Secret Service when they told him. It was like, what? Number one, that's Washingtonians know if we have real, truthful understanding. Ever since Obama, president's got a gun on him too. He ain't tripping off that. And best believe it'll take anybody down. Number two, that's also another reason why he said, huh? What? Excuse me? Because he couldn't believe. The first time when he was getting elected, he believed it because he thought he was going to get hit by a sniper rifle. Before he got into that area, you already tipped off on probable suspects, but they're not acted upon or because you can't predict that somebody's going to actually do something that's stupid necessarily all the time. So even he says mass shooters and such, anybody slip through the crack. It's true. You just can't get everybody. That's the reason why a few presidents he got shot or close to getting killed with bullets going inches away from who they are, because that's the truth, and that's how our Secret Service was even invented from Abraham Lincoln, when his first assassination attempt was a gunshot through his tall A hat, and when he got back, one of his friends told him, you got a hole in your hat. And he came from a gun. Somebody tried to shoot him in the head. He had no idea. So the Secret Service was invented. But nevertheless, we need to realize if that happens, nobody in America is safe. If the president with the most highly paid Secret Service dies from shooting, no regular normie is going to be safe ever again. Ever. I think we forget about it because a lot of people hate him. Yeah. Even the coworkers asked today, "Oh, did he get shot?" I'm like, "No." He said, "God dang!" I'm like, "Dummy, if he gets shot,
people are evil." That's all it is. I mean, seriously.
That's a normal response. They wish that on him every day. That's not even shocking to me no more.
Well,
I can get that from a family member. I think it's
because I think my disbelief is in the evil and the darkness in people. It's not that I don't believe that they believe that they would like to see some harm come to this man. It's the amount of evil that has taken over this land.
Yeah, it's normalized. Normalized to target specific human being, give them all your energy, and hate them with all your might, even without showing or physically doing nothing to oppose any of his views, to solidify anything that you believe to be true. That's the weird part. You can't even do anything physically to even try to say what I believe is right and show what you're doing is right. All you can do is just hate. And that's where we at right now.
But this is the thing. This is where the logic is done. If you wish ill on your own leader, it's like wishing ill on your pilot or your bus driver. Because if he goes down, you go down too. You're going to suffer too. May not directly, maybe with a slightly less impact, but you're going to suffer too.
People can't see it and don't see it. Can't see it and don't see it. That's the funny part about it. The sad part about it, not funny part.
They're a bit wicked.
I'm about to pull another thing back up. Give me a second, y'all. You said everybody who came on the live. Good.
I appreciate you guys for hanging.
Always gotta show love for the big. Okay.
Race relations back in the 50s and the 60s, you stay on your side of town, they stay on their side of town. Pure and simple.
Hey.
I can even remember when the buses were segregated. And you get on the bus, and at the front it says, white seat from front. Colors
Rest in
seat
peace.
from the rear.
Rest in peace.
So we had to start at the back of the bus if you got on the bus and work your way forward. And if you work your way forward and whites had already filled up all of the seats, then you had to stand. That was the whole South. That led to the bus boycotts.
This is a non-violent protest. We are depending on moral and spiritual forces, using the method of passive resistance.
Rosa Parks, she ignited the bus boycott.
For refusing to give up her seat to a white man, she was arrested and fined.
She was supposed to get up and give her seat to a white person because of that signage. And she said, I am tired and I am not getting up.
Hi. Because one woman, a seamstress, tired after a hard day's work, got fed up with her 40 years of living under Jim Crow. Because one woman said, I have had enough.
And you know what black people did? They walked to work. They carpooled.
And that was the day when we decided that we were not going to take segregated buses any longer.
So when black people in the 50s and the 60s caused enough economic harm to the bus companies, guess what? They took the sign down.
The executive board of the Montgomery Improvement Association recommends that the 11-month-old protest against the city buses will be called off and that the Negro citizens of Montgomery, Alabama will return to the buses on a non-segregated basis.
You could sit anywhere you wanted to.
That mad white lady.
Because economically they were in a hurt. That's how a lot of desegregation came about. There was a financial penalty if people banded together.
I would seek to give you a blueprint for freedom in Birmingham tonight. I would say first that at this moment, we must decide that we will no longer spend our money in businesses that discriminate against Negroes.
And it's funny because everybody want to do a blackout now, but it ain't new. He's been talking about this, but it ain't just blackout. Now it's worse. It's blackout if the business that you want to support that's black actually has good service. So it's not just I support you because of the color of your skin, and it's mine too. It's I support you because you're a good businessman. I'll never lose that thought. That's the only reason why I say that. Because a lot of people, they just forget and go, man, only reason why I support you because you're black.
Oh, no. No.
So if I'm white and I say that to another white guy and I make it known, I say out loud, only reason why I support you because you're black. Man. If you was one of them blacks, you see what I'm saying? You see how it goes?
Yep.
So sometimes we got to actually think about how deep we want to go in that rabbit hole. Once you go, you don't stop. That's it. If you look and have a town that says blacks only, or imagine a black autonomous zone, like start being real with yourself. Then there was no point of you even trying to do desegregation. Just create your own community. They already didn't want to integrate in the first place by letting you know with laws they didn't want to integrate. Then they forced to integrate with you with Negroes, and then you don't even want your own. You literally don't want to own your own. So you tell them to own it, and then tell them to switch their rules and laws when they wasn't even trying to mix with you necessarily, but they were letting you know that from the beginning. But you didn't realize it until you started, quote unquote, getting treated unfairly. Then you create things like HBCUs, which could highlight the fact that, hey, you come here and you're white, this is for us. So, you know, it's always a vice versa in it, because I understand at a certain time, it's funny because I get two sides of the story to this in academia, especially teachers. One says they didn't used to let African Americans go to Ivy League schools. Then another story says they did, but it was a select few, and the ones who did go to the Ivy League schools in the earlier days already owned businesses or something of that nature before they went. So by the time they went, they basically paying for it, you know. So when I made inventions and whatnot, so by the time they go to your school, you already made inventions and made own businesses, so you can afford to go to these Ivy League schools. I mean, I guess that a part of that is true, but what is true? That's what I ask myself. Like, I know for a fact, fraternities and sororities have how do you say it? Ideologues and ideas that base their foundation on shallow issues, cultures and bloodlines and all this mess. Only reason why I know that because I know that the sorority that created the Bilderbergs It's some alpha fraternity. I forget the name of it. But I met a guy who was in it when I was doing security, and he told me that we used to chant. We don't want NIGGERs in our circle, and we don't want we don't want them. So you find that out, and that he's part of the left. Obviously, he couldn't even escape telling me that. I'm like, dang. So they the ones who they breed you guys. What the heck? Maybe we need to wake up. We've been telling people this for years. At this point, it's a program, deep program.
Well, I'm gonna have to sign off, DJ.
All right, no problem. Man. I'm about to shut down.
Let me know when you're coming back on again.
Gotcha. Appreciate you and appreciate everybody coming on tonight.
Thanks, guys.
Share me, like, and subscribe. Tuning out. Peace.
Bye. Bye, guys.